Good to go, Spencer.
Good morning, good afternoon, bonjour. Today, Hockey Canada, the NHL, NHLPA announced Canada's first six players for the Four Nations face-off in February 2025. The roster includes les joueurs sont Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Brad Marchand, Connor McDavid, Brayden Point, and today's guest est notre invité aujourd'hui, Sidney Crosby. We'll get right into questions from media. Please raise your hand if you would like to ask a question. And when you are called upon, please state your name and the media outlet you are representing. And we'll start with Josh Clipperton. Brendan, sorry, I'm just not able to unmute him. If you can unmute.
Should be good, Josh.
Hey, Sid, it's Josh Clipperton with Canadian Press. Nate said on the radio the other week you guys have already been discussing line combinations. Did you guys have a whiteboard out, and what will it like to play alongside him for the first time since 2015?
Yeah, no whiteboard. We were on a golf trip and he brought it up. I think it was day one. He just kind of picked my brain, and obviously there's a lot of excitement. Having the opportunity to represent Canada, best on best. It's been a while since we had the opportunity to do that, and obviously, having the opportunity to play with him. So, I don't know how the lines are going to shake out, but having the chance to play with him at the Worlds in 2015 was a lot of fun, and it's been a while since then. So, I think if you talk to all the guys who got named today, I'm sure they're really excited, and it's been a while.
Josh, if you have a follow-up, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Just a thought on Nate getting the awards last night. He said you called him just the season he had, and I know it's important to him. He said he sort of parked that, but you could tell last night it was really important.
Yeah, I think he's been he's been nominated and been right there a lot. And, you look at the years all the guys had, it was pretty tight, but, just that home streak, how consistent, that he was, and just how big he was to his team's success, I think, it showed through. So I think that, seeing him and the way he works and how committed he is, I know he's doing that to win hockey games, but to be recognized, I'm sure it feels good, and it's well deserved. So just happy for him.
Thanks, Josh. And we will have time for a question and a follow-up, and we can circle back if there's time remaining at the end. Stephen, your mic's open.
Hey, Steve Warner from Associated Press. So thanks for doing this. Josh mentioned obviously about Nate, but also Connor McDavid, potentially the chance for the three of you to play together for the first time. You mentioned it's been a while, but is it almost one of those, like, until you're actually on the ice together, you won't believe it? Because we've been talking about this since 2022, maybe 2018. Is it one of those you kind of wait to see it happen?
Yeah, it might feel like that a bit, just because there's, a couple times there we felt like it might, and it didn't happen. But I think there's a little bit more confidence with this, and the fact that we know, a little further out, and it's something that you can talk about, you can plan, you can prep a little bit. So I think the anticipation and just guys, preparing for the season, but also being motivated, knowing in the back of their mind that this is something that they'll have a chance to be a part of. I think that's great for everybody, and it's you look at the guys who were announced today, some serious skill and some unbelievable group hockey players. So that's exciting for a player, and I'm sure fans will be excited to see that as well.
In terms of preparing for Milan, how are you kind of approached this tournament in terms of, obviously you want to win this one, but also sort of as a dress rehearsal for what you guys are going to do best on best international stage in Milan in 26?
Yeah, I think with all the teams, I think that it'll be good preparation as far as looking at groups of players, line combinations, and everything. I think the entirety of a team. So the fact that they're close together, I think that helps, and I think with it being fresh in people's mind when they get to see this event, and then followed up with the Olympics, there's a lot to be excited about.
Thanks, Stephen. Mike, your mic is open.
Sid, Mike Zeisberger from NHL.com, and good to talk to you. Just a couple. The first one would be, what is with the water in the Cole Harbor, Halifax area? 6 guys named, 3 of them live within, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
And maybe you can talk a little bit about those summer scrimmages, because I hear even though you guys are teammates, they get pretty heated.
Yeah, it's it's something that we're definitely proud of. I think happy to see Marshy and Nate there, and being able to skate with them in the summer and train together, and just see the way that they work and the way that they compete. I think the fact that we're going to play together on the same team, definitely familiar, and that's a lot of fun. But also, I know that we'll be pushing each other because of that. So that's a good thing too. Not that we necessarily need that all the time, but it's definitely intense when we get out there. But I think that's the great thing about it. We all want to see each other do well, but we're obviously really competitive and hopefully bring out the best in one another. So maybe sometimes the worst, actually, but really happy to see them part of it, and be something that I'm sure will be talked about a lot this summer.
And my follow-up is the big question around the team, and obviously you're not the general manager, but you have, I'm sure they have say, is you don't have, when you last Olympics, I mean, you had Carey Price and you had somebody that there's a few goaltending candidates, but nobody knows who. So just your thoughts on the goaltending situation.
Yeah, I think at every position we've got a lot of depth, and there's going to have to be tough decisions at every position, and goaltending obviously is one that's always going to be under the microscope for any team, but especially with it being Canada, and with Carey having been there previously. He's a guy that's not easily replaceable, but I think there's a lot of guys capable of doing that. So I think that with any position, there's always going to be hard decisions to be made, but that one will be a little bit more, I think more of a look at that one, because of Carey being there previously. But I think that there's a lot of depth there.
Thanks, Mike. Seth, your mic is open.
Hi, Seth Robal from Trib Live in Pittsburgh. Hey, Sid, appreciate your time. Hey. Can I just ask you, why is it important for the NHL and the NHLPA to participate in stage events like this, the World Cup a few years ago and the Olympics? Just what's the, I guess, value or the importance from a player's perspective in participating in something like this?
Well, I think a lot of different ways. I mean, you look at it from a fan perspective, just the interest, players having the opportunity to represent their countries, and, just I think the level of play. When you look at Olympics or events like this, you're really not going to get any better product than this. So I think that's something everyone gets excited for across the board, and I think it's a great opportunity to showcase hockey at its best.
And a follow-up, if I may, just one follow-up. I know this is geared towards the Four Nations tournament, but I wouldn't be doing my job as a Pittsburgh reporter if I didn't ask just. Is there anything you can say as far as any potential negotiations on an extension or anything like that as of Monday or anything?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a little bit of talk, I think, with the draft and free agency and stuff like that. It's something that I'll keep between Kyle and I, but we've had some conversations, and I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Thank you. Taylor, your mic is open.
Hey, Sid, thanks for doing this. Taylor asked Pittsburgh Sports. Other than Nate and those Nova Scotia guys, who are some of the specific players you're hoping to play with? You haven't had the opportunity to play with a lot of these Canadian guys.
I mean, a lot. You look at a guy like Cale. I think he's somebody that playing against him, just knowing how deceptive he is, the way he skates. That's a guy I play a little bit the All-Star game there and saw a little glimpse of it, but I'd say he's a guy that comes to mind.
And just to follow up on Seth's question, I know you don't want to divulge specifics on the talks, but couldn't say whether the extension is something you're going to have done this off season?
We're talking, so like I said, I'll leave it at that. I mean, that's, we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Taylor. Jean-Francois, your mic is open.
Yes, bonjour, Sidney. Nice to talk to you. You've won everywhere you've played, in the Rimouski, in the World Junior, World Championship, Stanley Cup, Olympic Games. How this Four Nations tournament will fare in comparison to what you've experienced before?
I don't know. I haven't been involved in this one specifically, but I think anytime you get to represent Canada, to play against, some of the best players in the world, play with some of the best, I think the competitiveness in you, I think you want to be at your best. You want to take advantage of that opportunity. And I think especially given the fact that, we haven't been able to do this in a long time, I think makes you appreciate it a little bit more. And, obviously I'm not getting any younger. So, I think you appreciate these opportunities more and more as you go along.
As you just said, you're not getting any younger. So what is it that you're looking forward to as a player that will bring something different in your memory books?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it was mentioned on here, I mean, it's a different group than, maybe the last group in the Olympics that I would have played with, or World Cup. I think that, just being surrounded by, so much talent, so much skill, seeing guys compete, playing against, the best in the world. Those are the kind of things as an athlete you love to be a part of. And, when I look back on those experiences, whether it was the practices or the games, getting to know guys, being part of Team Canada itself, all those things go into it. So I think there's a lot of things, but I think just the competition and just being able to play with some of these guys is pretty special.
Thanks, Jean-Francois. Simon Olivier, your mic is open.
Hi, Sid. I hope I'm not making you repeat because I was a little late on the Zoom, but what's your opinion on the format of the tournament? Because we talk about best on best, but Czech Republic just won World Championship. They're not going to be there, so no Pasternak for obvious reason. Russia's not going to be there. Roman Josi was just nominated for Norris, not going to be there. What do you think about this format?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you'd have some other countries, but I don't, I think the fact is that still having this opportunity, with some of the players, obviously you mentioned some that aren't going to be, involved, and that's unfortunate. But if you look at some of the ones that are, that were announced today, I think there's going to be some strong teams. It's going to be a strong product. So yeah, in a perfect world, I know exactly what you're saying, but I think as a player, getting the opportunity to represent your country and being able to play at that type of level, I think is still something you appreciate.
Thanks a lot.
Michelle, your mic is open.
Hi, Sid. Good to see you.
Hey.
I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear that my question's just about, what you've been up to this summer and how ready you are to get back competing again.
Yeah, it's a long one, and obviously watching the playoffs, I think you start to get pretty motivated when you see just the intensity and the level of play that it takes, especially with every round and watching the finals and just how great a hockey it was. So I think now that the Stanley Cup's been handed out and we're getting to draft and free agency, you start to kind of feel like things are getting closer and you turn the page on the year, and definitely excited.
Dave, your mic is open.
Hi, Sidney. Let me just start by saying that I grew up in Rimouski, so thank you for all you did for the city. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but this tournament is sort of presented as a warm-up thing for the Olympics. You've played the Olympics twice. You could go there for a third time in 2026. How stoked would you be to have a chance to win third gold medal and make it a hat trick of gold medals?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a ways away. Obviously, this event will be a great opportunity to, like we talked about earlier, play for Team Canada, and I'm sure a lot of the countries will be, breaking down their group and using that as an opportunity to see guys up close in combinations and see how everything works. So the fact that they're close together, I think, helps in a lot of ways. As players, it gives us a pretty, fresh idea of the level and things like that as well. So I'd love to be part of that. And I've had great experiences playing the Olympics in the past, and would love the opportunity to do it again. It's super competitive. You look at just how tight it is with every country. So be a great product and great hockey.
Thanks, Sidney.
Andrew, your mic is open.
Hey, Sidney, sorry if I already answered this question, but curious about Brad Marchand. What does he bring to your team, and how excited are you to have him back as a teammate now after you compete against him for so many years? I know you know him well.
Yeah, I think just a lot of experience, grit. He's a big game player. He just has that that ability to step up in key situations, and he's proven that time and time again. But I think just he can help in so many different ways as far as just on the ice. Can play any role and adapt and be successful. So I think that he's going to help in a lot of ways on and off the ice with experience as well. But I think his ability to play any role, I think, will be huge.
And then just a follow up on that, he took over as the captain of the Bruins last year. I know you're not in that room, but you've been the captain for Pittsburgh for so long. Watching from afar, how do you think he kind of took up to that role?
I think really well. I think he's someone that he plays a certain way, and he almost demands with the way he plays for guys to follow. He almost drags guys into that, and whether he had the C or not, I think he had a big impact on that, anyways. But I think naturally he's a great leader, and I think he didn't have to change much as far as how he approached things, and it seemed like something that was a pretty good transition for him. So they've got a great team, and he's somebody that I think's been leading for a long time. But I think that he did a great job with his first year as captain.
Hey, your mic is open. You're just on mute there. You can unmute yourself. There you go.
First, Willie Palov at the Herald. How you doing?
Hey, Willie. How's it going?
Good. You already touched on the potential of an all Nova Scotia line with you and Nate and Brad. But do you go in and lobby for that? Like, ask the coaches. That's what.
No, I won't be doing that. I think coaching staff will, I'm sure, have a lot of discussions. There's a lot of different combinations, and just depending on just centers to wings and who's comfortable where. I think there's a bit of a juggling act that always goes on with that. And, there's a lot of conversations, I'm sure, with coaches and even talking to guys too and getting their comfort level. So I won't be lobbying for anything. Obviously I play with Marchand a lot. So I think that's something that they probably know there's some, familiarity there, but I think, no lobbying. I think, whatever the combinations are, I think everyone will be happy to be playing with whoever they're with.
Right on. Yeah. Last thing, obviously you touched on this too, but I mean, 3 of 6 named today are from here, like small province, a lot of pride, all that. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. I think, we're really, we're proud guys, and, we still, spend time back home in the summers and get back there. So, I think there's a lot to be proud of there. And I think, we always grew up with having a lot of pride, being from Nova Scotia. So the fact that we have the opportunity to play together, representing Canada, is pretty special. And doesn't happen every day. So, you know, we're definitely grateful for that.
James, your mic is open.
Hi, Jim Conlon here from RCB Radio Sport Ireland. Delighted to talk to you today. Just on the competition factor, and we know the rise of the world hockey game and ice hockey as a world game. Do you see that now in the NHL, and do you see that they're going to be formidable as Sweden and Finland? Because everyone's looking at the glamour tie with the USA, but do you think it's Sweden and Finland are going to be formidable opponents for both you and the USA?
Definitely. You know, I think that that's not just, you know, because of the last couple of years. I think that it's been that way for a long time. I mean, you go back to Sochi, you know, we played Sweden in the finals. You know, Finland's been right there. Yeah, I think that, you know, all the countries, you know, I think everybody's really tightly matched. And you look at the list today, there's some impressive names and a lot of accomplishments, you know, within that group of players. So, you know, every team is definitely in good shape.
And Mike, if you have another question, we will finish up with you here.
Yes, it just, you know, how do you address to people that say, you know, oh, it's only an exhibition series, when you look at the rosters of these teams and it's just, I mean, I'll use street terms. It's really cool to see these great players, and especially representing their countries like this.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, as a player, I can only give you a player's perspective. And I think for us, having this opportunity, knowing that, you know, the Olympics is the following year, I think it's going to be a great product. I think that guys are excited about it. I think that when you put players like this together, you know, just the level of play increases, but also, you know, the competitiveness as far as, you know, Canada, US, Sweden, Finland. Like, I think that, you know, once you get out there, you see the competition, and with every game, the intensity rise. And I know, looking back to World Cup, it was very much like that. And it's fun. That's, as an athlete, as a hockey player, that's what you want to be a part of. So, you know, I think, you know, people can look at it different ways, but as a player, I know I get excited about it, and I know it's going to bring out the best in everyone, regardless of the format or who's involved. I think it's going to be a good product.
Thank you. And thanks for the time.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. That concludes today's media availability. Merci de votre présence aujourd'hui, et merci, Sidney. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And thank you, Sidney, for taking the time to be here. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.